Hi everybody, welcome to our Pathfinder intermission video. I wanted to do this before I start teaching you how to do combat or the game master section or literally any other portion of this book. In this video, I'm going to cover the first chunk of terms. As we hit more terms, I will make more videos like this. In this video, I'm going to go over the key terms found on page 12 of the core rulebook. When these come up in more detail, I will make sure to give you more information about each term. So first, let's start with ability score. So strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma are the ability scores. These are a representation of a creature's potential, and the reason this says creature is because monsters and other things can have ability scores too. The higher your score, the greater your potential with that given ability. Alignment. Alignment represents a creature's moral and ethical attitude. Alignment is not a static concept, so your alignment can fluctuate for your character. There are also bonus rules in the game mastery guide that let you play with alignment even further than you already can. If you're coming from Dungeons and Dragons, I believe alignment has been moved. That is not the case for Pathfinder, and alignment plays a pretty significant role in a couple of things in this game that we touch on in other videos. Your ancestry. Again, if you're coming from Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, ancestry is basically race. An ancestry is a broad family of people that a character belongs to. Ancestry determines the hit points, languages, senses, and speed of a character. Armor class. The armor class, identified as AC, is a representation of how hard it is to hit and damage a creature. Going forward, I will only now ever call armor class AC. Attack. An attack happens when a creature tries to harm another creature. Attacks happen using actions. Background. Your character background is roughly the experiences before the adventure. This definition is very broad as to what a background is, and while it is technically correct, when you are playing this game, make sure to check with your game master and make sure they didn't ban any of the backgrounds. Also, make sure you choose your background wisely, because it can grant a feat and training in one or more skills. Bonuses and penalties. Bonuses and penalties apply to checks and certain statistics. There are several types of bonuses and penalties. If you have more than one bonus of the same type, you can only use the highest bonus. You can only use the worst penalty of each type. Class. A class is a representation of the adventuring profession. Hit points, proficiencies, and feats are granted when you choose a class. Okay, Pathfinder has a bunch of classes in the core rulebook. Those are the only ones that you would need to play. But if you have any of the expansions or access to the archives, you can choose a variety of different classes. I know off the top of my head which is one that people really seem to like. I really like the witch class. Condition. A condition is an ongoing effect that changes how a character can act. A condition can also alter a character's statistics. Currency. Gold and silver are the most common currency in the game. You use currency to buy things. If your game master is anything like me, they'll want to make random currencies, toss them in, and see what the players do with them. It's always a fun experience. A feat. A feat is an ability you can select for your character. You will get a feat from picking an ancestry, a background, a class, general training, or skill training, and some feats grant the ability to use special actions. the Game Master, GM, or the Dungeon Master, DM. The Game Master is the player who does everything else. Okay, so the Game Master is going to proceed over the rules. They're going to narrate various elements of the story and the world, like the NPCs. They're going to tell you about any clues you may find. They run combat. The Game Master is deciding what is banned and what's not. The Game Master I like to think of as like a referee. If you plan on being a Game Master for this game or any other game I cover on this channel, you're not fighting your players. The Game Master is not out to get players. You are just a referee. Everybody at the table should be having a good time. The way that I like to Game Master is I like to do all the world building, create the NPCs, do everything that I just said, but then I like to give characters enough breathing room. You don't want to railroad anybody. And I'll cover the Game Master more when we hit the advanced course further down the line in this YouTube playlist. So hit points, or HP. Hit points represent the amount of punishment a creature can take before it falls unconscious and begins dying. Damage decreases hit points on a 1-for-1 basis, while healing restores hit points at the same rate. Initiative. At the start of an encounter, all of the creatures involved roll for initiative to determine the order in which they act. The higher the result of its roll, the earlier the creature gets to act. Level. A level is a number that measures something's overall power. Player characters can go from level 1 through 20. Level is representing your character's amount of experience. So monsters, NPCs, hazards, diseases, and poisons can be levels -1 through 30. This is measuring the amount of danger they pose. I like to use -1 for something like a daisy or something, just almost as a joke. Items can have levels that range from 0 to 20. Item levels indicate its power and sustainability as treasure. Spells have levels running from 1st to 10th, which measures their power. Characters and monsters can usually cast only a certain amount of spells at any given level. Non-player characters, the NPC. A non-player character is controlled by the Game Master. NPCs interact with the players and help advance the story. Perception. Perception is a measure of your character's ability to notice hidden objects or unusual situations. It usually determines how quickly a character can spring into action in combat. The player character, or PC. This is the character controlled by the player. Proficiency. So proficiency is a system that measures a character's aptitude and specific task at a specific task or quality. And it has 5 ranks. So untrained, trained, expert, master, and legendary are the 5 ranks. Proficiency gives you a bonus that's added when determining the following modifiers and statistics: your AC, attack rolls, perception, saving throws, skills, and spell effectiveness. If you're untrained, your proficiency bonus is +0. If you're trained, an expert, a master, or legendary, your proficiency bonus equals your level +2, 4, 6, or 8. Rarity. Some elements of the game have a rarity to denote how often they're encountered in the game world. Rarity primarily applies to equipment and magic items, but spells, feats, and other rule elements also have rarity. If no rarity appears in the traits of an item or spell or other game element, it is of common rarity. Uncommon items are available only to those who have special training or grew up in a certain culture or come from a particular part of the world. Rare items are almost impossible to find. The DM will typically hand out rare items. Unique items are one of a kind in the game. As the DM, you are free to Adjust the rarity to suit your needs. Round. A round is a period of time during an encounter in which all participants get a chance to act. A round is approximately 6 seconds of in-game time. Saving throw, or a save. When a creature is subject to a dangerous effect that must be avoided, it attempts a saving throw to mitigate the effect. You attempt a saving throw automatically. You do not have to use an action or reaction. Unlike for most checks, the character who isn't acting rolls the d20 for a saving throw. The character who is acting provides the DC. Skill. A skill represents a creature's ability to perform certain tasks that require instruction or practice. Each skill includes ways anyone can use that skill even if they're untrained, as well as uses that require a character to be trained in that skill. Excuse me. Speed. Speed is the distance a character can move using a single action, measured in feet. Spell. Spells are magical effects created by performing mystical incantations and gestures known only to those with special training or inborn abilities. Casting a spell is an activity that usually uses 2 actions. Each spell specifies what it targets, the actions needed to cast it, its effects, and how it can be resisted. If a class grants spells, the basics of that ability are provided in the class description. Do not forget to read your spells. Trait. A trait is a key word that conveys additional information about a rule's element, such as a school of magic or rarity. Often, a trait indicates how other rules interact with an ability, creature, item, or other rules element that has a trait. Turn. During the course of a round, each creature takes a single turn according to the initiative. A creature can typically use up to 3 actions during its turn. And that's it. So that covers all of the basics of terms in Pathfinder 2nd edition. I obviously didn't cover conditions in this video. I'll probably do that later down the line. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Have a good day, drink some water, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.